Alright, so I'm not going to say this video is going to be perfect, but I love my letters. And we're going to read a letter today. I actually got these letters as a surprise when I was buying some other World War II letters. But these are British letters. And the special part is they are from Tanganyika, the territory, British West Africa. So, October 23rd, 1939. I have more of these, but this one's special because this is a censored letter that was censored like very immediately right after the war began. So it was probably put at the post office. They were told, hey, we have to censor things. This is one of the letters that got ripped open, looked at, read, censored, and then sent on forward. And they used black ink to censor it because they didn't have a lot of the stuff, and they didn't have the cutting out, which they did later, or a lot of the censor markers / paint that they usually use, which caused this. So I'll read this letter. Dear Jen and Ed, I only know too well that I have let you down in correspondence, but I have also known full well that you are fully aware of the fact that I did not do so intentionally. We have been suffering from the usual night and annual European war. Jitters out here. The jitters have ended, at least for the war, and we are definitely not affected by flying shells and falling bombs. But we are pulling in our belts in many other ways. There has been no disorder. The natives have learned that Mr. Hitler, in his book Mein Kampf, designed these as half-apes. No compliments to any here in view of this knowledge that their sympathies are pleaded with the British. To place is alive with soldiers, rather men overnight converted into soldiers. The British have been rather white all along the line. The German native nationals were all arrested and interned at the outbreak of the war. There was a little or no fuss. Some of these poor lads are trying to get a living out of the sale of Africa, are better off as guests of the British government. They have been for quite frequently some time. Only men have been interned. The women and children have been told to remain in their plantations. They receive ample supply of allowance, and children have been told 3 shillings for the wife and mother, and about 85 American cents at the present time, and definite sum for each child according to the age and needs of all children. We often wonder whether the poor unfortunate British in the Nazi hands are treated as well. All these arrested in Tanganyika have been interned in the concentration camp in Dar es Salaam. The daily expenditure for their upkeep is $5,000. I understand that they have all the amenities of life except freedom of movement. The camp, wives may visit their husbands. If something she and something then do. There's really nothing that tragedy about the war might beyond the separation from family and home. Their plantations, something by the alien property custodian. The fruits of their plantations, as far as we know, something owners beyond the wage, which a manager is given administration of the handling of something beyond the visit of family and every day to see each other, comfort and needs. The blank have strict orders to keep away from all European plantations unless they have definite reason for being present. In the internees have a radio in their camp. I think that the women and children are not permitted to have these. They are more than likely to get news occasionally without listening to the proven speech through. They merely then likely got the news occasionally without listening to the proven speech as the Berlin goose-steppers. All in, we Americans out here, having seen the humanity of the British administration towards these good people, have the case to admire that they are much more. We are, however, without definition of menace and war and all that it means in Tanganyika. The question of Italy is a big question mark. And this was all censored. Shall hear of it in the history books are written. Rhodesian troops have been brought up into Tanganyika. There are in camp presently and in the town of Masai. One battalion seems to have moved in to stay for a short time and disappear to be released by another. A well-placed needs to be fulfilled with strange places. These Rhodesian troops are far the most part, mere youngsters. I have met quite a number of officers and herring lads, all of them, even the ordinary privates, I doubt for very long if they exceed 30 years of age. If Italy throws her muscle against the English, these Nazi hordes come rolling into the country, we shall be telling you all about the battle and our share in it. Since it will not be a private fight, the Yanks out here will have every right in the world to get into it. Very few Yanks ever run away from a fight. It must be the Irish in them. My new pest in Nugi merchants has to be abandoned. Presently, I am alone here in an outpost in Rumbi mission of Mongwe. The first 11 months out here were spent in the Maasai nations. And at the end of these 5 months, I was sent to Kalame. Now I'm back in my old stomping ground. Whether I am back here because the mob deserve watching or being real McCoy as far as the Wagnese tribes go or not, I cannot say. At any rate, we are having a lovely time all alone. I am a combination of teacher, priest, and doctor, treating everything from spinal alignment to fallen stretches. I mentioned that rather serious disease because I have 7 nikes in my belt to date, containing 7 conquests of this violent disease. To be sure, I had a bit of medical training in a long distance past. Through that, if I had forgotten all that I know, till the present, my job was shelved on to me. A big part of our job consists of salvating the spiritual and badly ills of our people. But not until the present, I have been called to concentrate the attending badly silence in such large doses. All right, the nights are rather long. My salvation has been reading Australs that you have sent. Many present Parisian numbers of 3,000 Catholics are sure to have 10 serials in the past. The number of children in the schools are rather big figure. We managed to visit way out to be arbiter in domestic syllables. Some trade, some grotesque, so that we are not without our share of laughs at the end of each day. The Vicarnate magazines is edited during the evening and is a bit of a humor magazine. The author has taken himself for a ride in all his conferences from the bishop down. Copy is supplied by all the fathers with a monthly edition to be gotten out. I find plenty of demonstration for the evening. The cartoons you have enclosed have been turned to good use. The mat on this magazine, which I typed, is set up in loose leaf and reads, "A humor is the safety valve of our victoriate." It happens that I only saw one of the fathers out here without a companion. We do not have anyone but the natives with us. The sister father of Ramba are 7 miles from here. Kilman Sensation is 17 miles away. We find occasionally frequently to walk into Rambe with 2 American captains. One are stationed. The superior in Rumbe is an immediate superior, Friar Joe Griff, in from home in Philly. To be sure, lad's taken the hermit for a good ride and put into an apprentice. However, we are not altogether tanged ourselves in these little outings. I have to thank you for your lovely gift for the reading materials. The men for response of the soul Mrs. Riley was offered as soon as they arrived. Then, too, we had Mass for you both on your anniversary. I hope you managed to set we all right without Long Island friends in the long delay of writing. I owe Bob and Mother a letter. I've recovered all the Time magazines that Bob had been sending regularly, and will try to employ a note to Mother and Bob before the letter gets underway. Anxiously, the praetorial trip that Bob has promised as through the world affair. More than happy to hear that O'Regans are blessed again with another little one, and to hear that Kathy is beginning to hold her own in the domicile O'Regan. My congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. O'Regan and their blessing on their little one. We managed to break a blood vessel in the left eye. This afforded us a trip to the local big town of Mashai and the government quack. There she, an old pal of mine, incited that I had high blood pressure. The machine deployed this. He decided to give me the work and find out what made the old engine run. And in the eye was attributed to the sun and failure to wear and prescribed sunglasses. The blood vessel had been ruptured, to be sure, yet the funeral is a long way off, as of yet. Must send greetings for a blessed, holy, happy Christmas in this night, with misery, censorship, and other kindred war games out here are all around us. This letter will arrive about Christmas time. Forgiven, we hope the long delay. Our blessings to you both and our Long Island friends. Thanks for everything. A blessed Merry Christmas to all. Sincerely, something Hudson, maybe? So, my apologies on my reading. This is a little hard, especially with the lighting, and I usually do these when they're scanned in a lot lighter, but this is a very interesting letter written by an American priest sent from the British East African territory, talking about Rhodesian troops and whatnot. Curious on what was painted over, and these are hard to read, but with a bunch of scanning, I might be able to fully make it out. Honestly, this is one of my favorite sets of letters I got from this priest. They go from 37 to about 40. I wish I had more of them from him, but that's about it. But hopefully you guys enjoyed, and hopefully you guys will tune in next time.